What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger, and I'm going to talk about the narcissists today. And man, narcissists are control freaks, and I'm going to dig deep into that today and talk about how they are control freaks, why they are control freaks, and kind of the specifics of that. So what I want to start with is, like, most people will talk about narcissists, and they'll mostly talk about them being controlling, domineering, whatever, and that's most of what you'll hear people talk about. But the thing is, sorry, I got some hiccups here. The thing is it's a means to an end. So they're not just being controlling to be controlling. In some cases they are, but for the most part, they're trying to get you under control for a reason. You know, you're not just trying to, they're trying to lock you up and lock you down and be on top of your stuff for a reason, you know? A lot of those reasons come down to jealousy. A lot of those reasons come down to the fact that they want to destroy your life. You know, they do. They want to destroy your life, and it's very hard to destroy someone's life, or it's nearly impossible to destroy someone's life, actually, if you don't have control over them or influence over them. How are you going to get at someone if you have no control or no influence over that person? You're not going to be able to. But if you want to destroy someone's life and mess somebody over and treat somebody horribly, get control over them first, and then you can treat them horribly pretty much whenever you want to. And, you know, because if you don't have control over them, they are going to, you know, squeeze you out. They are going to cut you out of their life. They are going to not tolerate you. You know, if you have no control over them, you know, there's nothing the narcs can do if they don't have control. So it's a means to an end. And the second level is, like, there is a theft that narcissists do. You know, they mentally, emotionally, and, you know, even financially and physically, narcissists are stealing from you. They want to steal your peace, they want to steal your happiness, and they want to steal your love. You know, they do. And it's hard to, again, steal from someone if you do not have some level of control over that person, you know? And I'm not really referring to stealing as in, like, breaking into someone's car and stealing their stuff or whatever. I'm referring it to in a more metaphorical, spiritual kind of a sense. It's like they want to steal, like, your life force. They want to steal your energy. They want to sort of, like, because they get power from that. They get empowered, they get motivated, they get that, it gets them up and going to treat you bad, to treat another person horribly, to treat another person badly, to kick somebody around, to make somebody into their punching bag, whatever, to just drag someone down into negativity, put someone in a bad mood, whatever. To do negative things is what fuels a narcissist, and they need that. They need to get that fuel source from somewhere. And if they don't have you under control, you know, they're not going to have good access to that. They're not going to have access to your supply. You know, they won't. But if they have you under control, and if they are, you know, controlling over you, they have easy all day long access to the stuff they want. So I want to establish what's on top of the control, because, you know, yes, they are irrational people. Yes, they will do controlling things that don't make sense. They will do that stuff, but there's an agenda behind the control. It's not just control for the fun of it, you know. There's an agenda behind it, and there's something that they're trying to get and extract out of you. And, you know, they're trying to keep you in one place so they can destroy you and steal from you and ultimately kill you, because that's what the narcissists on a deep level are really trying to do, is kill you. You know, that's the bottom line. And, and that can actually literally manifest because of the stress they cause and, the problems that they bring in your life. They are trying to, they really are trying to do bad things to you. Don't underestimate the evil of these people, and even just in a metaphorical sense, kill your motivation, kill your ambition, kill your happiness, kill your joy, kill your inner child, kill your love, They are trying to kill you, That's the bottom line. Hard to do that if they can't get you under control, Yeah. And, the thing also is, ego. They are massively egotistical people. They do not have a true soul on the inside. They do not have a true self on the inside. They have thrown those things away, and they have completely, just gotten rid of those things. They don't have access to them. They have put that in the back, put that stuff so far on the back burner, it's not there. So their whole inner self, it's all ego. There's nothing genuine going on there. And what does ego need? Ego always needs to be fed. Ego always needs to be right. Ego always needs to get their way, Ego always has to have it their way. Ego always needs to get even. Ego's not going to forgive anybody, and we live in a very egotistical society and in an egotistical world, and the narcissists are all ego. There's nothing else going on there. And if you think there's other stuff going on there, it's a mask. It's a mask, or they're just trying to play nice, or they're scared of you, or whatever. There's not. There's no other stuff going on there with them. It's all ego. And look, the ego. Yeah, like I said before, the ego needs to be right. It does. The ego wants to, be like the king, the queen. The ego wants to be on the top of the hierarchy. Narcissists are obsessed with hierarchies and social dominance. They are obsessed with people in powerful positions. And I see this manifest in one of two ways. They are either extremely jealous of someone in a powerful position and trying to destroy that person, and that should be me, or they are completely on their hands and knees kissing that person's butt as hard as they can to try to get in that person's good graces, so they can experience that vicariously a little bit through that person. It's what they try to do, and it's what they will do. But they are obsessed with power, obsessed with authority, obsessed with social dominance. They are obsessed with this person's the boss, and this person's the president, and this person. They are obsessed with that stuff, and it's all that they value, and it's all that they see as valuable. That's the core value is other people. Other people will respect that person. Other people will give that person attention. So narcs are obsessed with this. They're very obsessed with this. And what does the person at the top have? Control. The person at the top has control. And they think that they are like the person at the top. They think that they are like the king of the world. They think that they have all this power and this sway, and they think that they are like this big, powerful person, and they think they're someone who should be respected, Because of that, they decide, well, I should be in control of things. I should get my way. I should get to make these decisions. It should be all me, And that's how they get, It really, really is. And that's another reason why they are so controlling, Another reason why these narcs are so controlling is just they're so irritable and weird, and they're so everything has to be just so, and if something's a little bit off, they're gonna get really upset. And look, I've seen it in the workplace where something wasn't loading or something on the computer wasn't working or something like that, and I've seen them really freak out. So it's like if one little detail is off, if there's one little problem, if there's one little, wrong thing going on, or one little detail that's missing there, they lose it. They lose it. And for them, it's like if they can have complete control, then that will never happen. And they can protect themselves from having to ever have to feel bad about anything. And this kind of control can go to really, really irrational places because it's 100% emotionally based. And this kind of control is the kind of control you're going to have to deal with a narcissist in your day-to-day life the most. This kind of thing where I came home from work and there was some speck of dust in the corner. Now I'm in a bad mood, and stuff like that. Stuff like that. And it's going to be irrational things like, this book was on the wrong shelf. You left the book on the coffee table. It's supposed to be on the shelf. We put the books on the shelf. How can you leave a book on the coffee table? Stuff like that. And I went to put my coffee down on the coffee table and I had nowhere to put it. I had to pick this book up. And am I your maid? I have to move this book for you? You can't clean up after and again, that's the kind of stuff you're going to have to deal with. And in my life, that kind of control is the stuff I've had to deal with, where it's just like, they just get upset about things really, really easily, and the littlest things will set them off, and they have this certain way in their mind that they want things to be. But that way is always changing based upon their emotions. Narcissists are very, very emotional. I just thought of that today, and I'm like, man, they are so, so, so emotional. But it's that kind of control, and then the next day the book is on the bookshelf. And like, why did I have to go? Oh, I wanted to read that. I wanted it on the coffee table. I wanted it right there, and I have to get up and find it on the bookshelf. I had to look around and I couldn't find it, and I wanted to read that book and I was right in the middle of it. How you should have left it out on the coffee table for me. How could you, and it's stuff like this where it's not rational things. It's not rational. And the goalposts are constantly moving, and there's no way to appease them or make them happy, And it's why you start to walk on eggshells around them, because you never know what thing is going to upset them. And unfortunately, for most people, what people will start doing is they'll start, over preparing and over whatever, and being like, I got the book in my hand. Do I leave it on the coffee table or do I put it on the bookshelf? What do I do, And you'll start to do kind of this weird stuff, because you're just used to these kind of freakouts that come out of nowhere. Narcissistic parents discipline their children like this too. Or they'll just like freak out randomly about a seemingly random, insignificant thing, and then it's some big deal, But you're always like trying to pick up on how they're feeling and what vibe do I get off them. I'm just gonna try to adjust it to their feelings and try not to upset them, and because if I say this one thing, it might upset them, and if I do this one thing, it might upset them, and it's, for the most part, that's the kind of control that the narcissists are trying to assert over you, and it's an impossible standard to meet. And they're miserable people. They're always in a bad mood. They're never going to be happy, so again, they're going to freak out at you for every little thing and tell you everything's bad and whatever, and and they need a problem to kind of catastrophize over too, and that's part of what their control comes down to. It's not usually about positive things, but it's usually about negative things, and part of it is about finding something to make into some big catastrophe and some big problem and some big issue, It's what they do, and then they'll find some little thing wrong. A smoke alarm beeped, and smoke alarm is beeping, and then you're getting calls about it at work or whatever about smoke alarm beeping, and and they're just constantly look at this. There's this problem. There's that problem. This is going on. That's going on. They're trying to really get your attention and make themselves the subject of focus. and they're trying to make themselves the center of attention. You know, and again, like, if you have control, you can use that control you have over other people to make yourself the center of attention. So that's what the narcissists do. They use the control that they have to make themselves into the center of attention. That's what they do, you know. That's what it is. And, you know, it's also like, I'm trying to think of how to say this, but narcissists need a power dynamic. A narcissist can't be like, we're on even ground, we're on even terms, we're both, you know, we both see eye to eye. This is my friend, this is my brother, this is whatever. We're both equals. They don't do well with that. You know, they don't want a relationship of equals. They want a master slave. This person's in charge, this person defers to this other person. They want that kind of a relationship, and they do very poorly outside of a relationship like that. And typically they're going to want to be the quote-unquote master and be in charge of everybody and get their way, but when you break them down, and when they're weak, and when they're not doing well, and when whatever, they're falling apart, they'll start to, and I've had them do this to me before, they will become extremely deferential and will start to just kind of do whatever you say and be scared of you. And I've had that happen to me before, you know. But like, they can't handle even partnership. They can't handle a relationship of equals. You know, it's not something they can really mess with. And it's why they can't, you know, it's why they can't really find that much places of agreement. It's always arguments with the narcissist. It's always a control battle. And it's always a test of boundaries, and to see how far they can push things and what they can get away with, and all this stuff. You know, they're always doing that. Constantly. They don't stop doing that. And at the same time, it's like, they really want your approval in a very deferential way. They really want you to approve of them and to like them. And I'm having kind of a hard time describing this dynamic, but I think some of you guys kind of know what I'm talking about, where it's like, you just can't have a normal friendship, a normal even relationship, a normal eye to eye, we're both equals, we're both on the same level. Like, you know, they just don't do that. They don't do well with that. And if they're doing that, it's a mask too, because when you get to know them more, you know, that mask will come off, and you'll start to realize that they're not interested in any kind of a relationship of equals, or any kind of partnership, or anything like that. No, you know, they don't do that. Yeah. And like, they're insecure people too. And like, when someone is anxious and insecure, they will start to try to control things, because that will give them like a sense of certainty and a false sense of security, you know. So it's something that insecure people will do. Insecure people tend to be much more controlling, because it's like they're very worried and nervous, and they don't know what's gonna happen, and you know, all this stuff. So when you're worried and insecure, you're on, you know, have this under control, I need to have that under control, I need to have control over this and that, you know. And when you're like that, you know, which is how all narcissists are, they're in this very nervous, anxious, low kind of state, you know. You start to try to have to control everything, because it's like, oh, if I don't have control over things, it's all gonna fall apart, and you know, and yeah. And then like, they don't know where the boundaries are either. They don't know what's okay and what's not okay, you know. They don't have a good sense of that. So because they don't have any sense of what is okay and what is not okay, they don't get that like, their behavior is not cool, their behavior is not okay, you know. Being all controlling with somebody is not okay. And like, if you want to have like a partner, eye to eye, we're both friends, we're both equals kind of relationship, you know, a big respect of boundaries is required for that. You know, because if you don't respect someone's boundaries, it's going to be hard to have that kind of a relationship. And like, maturity is required for that kind of a relationship as well, you know. It is, you know, because if you're immature, then it comes down to like, well, I'm a little baby and mommy loves me more than you, and I'm a little baby and daddy loves me more than you, and it comes down to that. And a lot of stuff with narcissists comes back down to that kind of dynamic. You know, yeah. And like, going back to what this guy's parked bad. What I said earlier, like, narcissists are irrational people. You know, they're not sane people. They are people who are massively mentally unwell. And when people are mentally unwell, they fixate over weird things. And when people don't have a good grip on their sanity, they start to be all weird and controlling. And, oh, did you leave this out? And, you know, they start to think weird things about things. And, you know, try to record your conversations with their cell phone. And, you know, just start to do weird stuff, you know. And again, like, people get all irrational, and then they get all controlling, and they get all like, ooh, what's going on? What are you doing in your life? And, you know, and they just get weird, you know. Irrational people just start to want to control things. And like, the narcissists want to like control every little detail of what you're doing. They want to like look over your shoulder and be like a bug up your ass, you know. And like, really, they do. They want to be freaking looking over your shoulder like a bug up your ass, and you know, trying to control every little thing you do, you know. And they want to control the way you walk and the way you talk, and they want to really boil down to the little details of this. Well, you know, when you said this, you should have said this in a better tone of voice, and, you know, your word choice there was a little. And it's like they're watching you, and I've talked about that in other videos, but they are like watching you through their creepy binoculars, you know. They really are. And again, it's a weird irrational thing of trying to just be way up in your business, you know. And the thing is, like, they don't really have a life of their own. So if you don't have a life of your own, you become like super fixated and weird, you know. And it's like they become like a weird kind of stalker. And a weird stalker is so like obsessed with their target of obsession. And once you become so obsessed, that kind of like manifests into control, where it's like, well, I want to know what he's doing, where's he going, what's going on, you know, because they're so fixated and obsessed and so like into you, that manifests into control and into like, I gotta know what's up with him, you know. And I think in some cases they maybe mistakenly think that all this controlling stuff is helpful or beneficial. Like, I think they think that they're like saving you or helping you. Like, I've had some stuff where, like, I don't know, I left my pen at the desk, or I left behind a very unimportant personal item, and then you got the narcissist running after you. Hey, you left your pen here. Hey, remember that? When you lost your pen, remember your pal who ran back and gave it to you. You know, you owe me a big one here, you know. And they'll just do stuff like that where it's just so like, what are you guys doing, you know? But again, they're just like trying to be so up in your business, you know. It's like that kind of control. They're just like so like trying to figure out what you do, what you're hanging out with. They're trying to like figure you out and know all this stuff about you. And, you know, they're just like so up in your business, so not respecting your boundaries. And, you know, like, I want to kind of circle back to an earlier point before I wrap this up, but they're so like up in their ego that if you say like you want to do this and they say they want to do that, it's like, we have to do because I'm more important, so we have to do what I say, you know. That's literally what they kind of think. Like, they think they're more important than everybody. And they have this very isolated, insulated, deep down way that they are, where it's like, nobody else matters but me, you know, and they're, yeah, you know, and again, if nobody else matters but you, and they have that mentality, you know, what's that going to lead to? All right, well, I guess I can control these people. I guess it's okay to be weird like that, you know, and yeah, but I mean, these narcissists are complete control freaks. They're complete weirdos. They try to really control every detail of everything you're doing, and are just, man, are just so up on you in the worst kind of way. So, yeah, I just want to say, exercise these narcs out of your life, kick them out of your life, you know, get these weirdo cockroaches out, you know, you don't need them. You know, rats and cockroaches is what they are. But yeah, you know, I mean, really, but like, I'm trying to think here, but yeah, like, the narcs are they're just nasty rats. They're nasty cockroaches. They're such petty little people, you know. Maybe that's the final point I'm trying to make before I end this, but they're so small and petty, and like, it takes a very small, petty person to want to, like, control things, you know. It's not someone who, like, feels good about themselves, or, like, it's someone who's extremely insecure who wants to control other people, you know. And it comes from a place of weakness and insecurity and self-hatred and, you know, disregarding oneself and things of that nature, to be you know, to be all controlling like that and to be all weird like that. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to say God bless you all. I love you all. You know, much love to all of you. Love and blessings. And I will see you next time.